Hey everybody, just making a quick video today, not really to get on any subject other than the housing market and how soon or late you think it's going to crash. Do you think it's going to crash? But probably most of all, the biggest question is this. Uh, you gals that's followed me for a while, I just bought this house. It's my first house. I was thrilled about it. It's actually two houses, right at an acre when you count. It's two parcels. I mean, the other one's real little tiny. It used to be a home. It's a concrete block, and it's turned into a shop. And then the house here, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 840 square feet up top. You can see it on Realtor.com, but a basement too that's very much usable. It's where we're brooding the chickens right now. And of course, since we'll say 2020, the housing market has skyrocketed. You all know that. And I mean, prior to that, if this house would have been completed, which it sat empty for 13, 14 years. So it was probably got around the time of the first crash, or not first, but the most current crash, 08, 09, things kept going kind of downhill. Housing market just crashed completely. A lot of people lost homes. If you don't know somebody that lost a home during that time period, then you probably don't know a lot of people. Um, anyway, probably prior to that or building up to this bubble we've been having, this house would have probably been valued. I mean, I'd say if say it was decent value or decent shape, it probably would have been around 65,000. But the guys that came in and finished it up did a really nice job, and I mean it's a beautiful house when we can keep it clean. It's a beautiful house. Miko, dogs in general, trying to garden through the front door and the back door, trying to build fences, trying to build sidewalks. Um, Keeps it, I'll have to say, I mean, kind of dirty. And the problem is part of the problem is that the floor is dark. And I would say it keeps dirty just simply because we don't do enough to keep it clean, quite frankly. Um, and that could be changed. That's no, I mean, that's just, developing a habit. It's just that I don't take the time. Anyway, that's not even really an issue. It's not why I'm on here. Anyway, my house, I mean, like I say, you can see it on Realtor.com, so it's no secret. It was like 98 grand. Well, 94.9, but I did have to, bid a little over, and then you got all the other stuff that adds on top, and this, that, and the other, and so yeah, it's financed at like 98, so it's got a little bit over a year's worth of payments into it, so the value has appreciated, quite a bit. I don't know exact numbers right at the moment, but I know at one point I checked it was like 105. But here's the thing: in my street, there's a house that had sat empty since I've been here a year and a few months. It's down the street from here. Um, it neighbors to a really old farmhouse, an older piece of property with a conglomeration of, uh, things, personal items, mechanics, and such. All along the outside, some cars, some, garages, makeshift shops. Um, so, not spit as a whistle, but definitely lived in, which, I mean, that happens. If you are the type of person that does things, especially if you do outside things, that's what happens. So anyway, there's a little house right beside of that. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, but only 900 square feet. And the guy who was working on it came in, looked like I didn't see a whole lot of inside work being done. I did see some trash coming out the door, probably some new flooring, paint. It's got a really nice new fence along one side. And it's a flat driveway. However, I don't think it went on the market, let's say 3 weeks ago. I think it was 3. Yeah, okay. 1st of April it went on the market. And within 5 days, it's under contract. But my point is, sorry, I'm making this video. I'm really rambling a lot more than I thought I would. That house is being sold for $142,000. So there's 2 houses back behind me on a different street that backs up. That's our backyard. And, one of them is a double wide, older, probably early 90s. Pretty much all sloped yard, just a little bit room for parking up front. It's, I think, under contract right now for $99,000. They were asking $120,000 for it. And then the house beside that, I actually went up and spoke to the guys doing the work up there. And it's just, I mean, I'm not even going to tell you the numbers on it. I didn't, they didn't strictly say, don't say anything about this. But I just feel like, I went up there and just kind of talked to them, introduced myself, offered to mow and weed eat the backyard for payment, of course, because time's money right now. But I was going to do it cheap. But anyway, he told me, what she had paid, and it was $25,000 over what market value, what it showed that it sold for last time, and nothing's been done to it in over 2 years, and that's the last time that it sold. So, it had sold for $30,000 back then, and this was like 25 over. So, and it needs a lot of work. Probably $50,000 worth of work is going to go into it. But so my question, what I'm going to title this video, what I want is an honest opinion. I could sell this house probably within a month or less for sure. 45 days to closing. I guess number one, is there time for me to do it? Do you think I should do it? I could probably sell it. I mean, if that house down the street went for 142, I could sell this for 150, 155. There's no doubt in my mind right now that it could be sold for that much. Just being, cleaned up, put back in that pristine condition that I bought it in January of 2021. It's a beautiful house. The way the inside is all fixed up and everything. It's really beautiful. And there's a lot of usable space outside. There's a flat yard out front that we've kind of started turning into a little bit of a garden. There's 2 different parking areas, driveways. There's room for trailers. There's room for more sheds if you want to build. It's got a deck out back. It's got, 3/4 of the way fenced in. I've built the whole fence in the front. Fences with neighbors in the back. I've reinforced the fence line with 2 different neighbors. Actually, the 2 that are for sale right now. The neighbor over next way has said, they've got a fence between this yard and that. And I said, I'll just come right along and fence in the rest of the front. Eventually, got to do a gate. There's still a lot to do. However, I think it would be bought without a lot of that being done. And I really think that, and I mean, if that was the case, I mean, if I could turn around and make 50 grand on something, if I could make 50 grand on it, then I could go and I could either put 50 grand into, 2 or 3 acres, a lot more out in the country somewhere. With making that much of a profit, I could put in a solar system. I could have it well dug if it wasn't already there. I'm almost afraid it's like a no-brainer at this point. I'm just scared. I'm scared because what if I didn't make enough of a profit to turn around and just outright buy something? But is it stupid to not take that leap? Or, I mean, do you just play it safe at this point? Is there not enough time to get all of that done, to move things, to get arrangements done? Is there not enough time for that? Is it a safer bet to just stay where you are? I mean, you're getting to know your neighbors now. They're like-minded. That's something I've been wanting to make a video about. I've got like-minded neighbors. I mean, especially the neighbors directly across the street from me. They're very much so like-minded. So they're awake. A few of them completely. Perhaps even more than myself. They're very knowledgeable. The older neighbor, she's very knowledgeable about home remedies. She reads. She does. They garden. They got a big garden. Not a big garden, but I mean for a suburban area. And that's another thing. I mean, I wanted to be rural and I'm not. And these are probably questions that I asked myself before I ever made the step that I did to do this. But, I mean, if I could make 50 grand, should I not? Oh my goodness. I think Miko wants to. Sorry. But, or is it just a dream that you would be able to make that much of a profit? So what if I just made 20? So, I mean, even if I just made 20, I could still buy a piece of property, or I could buy a camper or something. You want to go on the road? You want to move back to Kentucky? You like Kentucky? Or you like Tennessee? You got to answer me now. You started talking, now you can't stop. You like Kentucky? You like Tennessee? Kentucky. I think she's kind of torn too, like me. What's your honest opinion? Much love.